Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a fun and exciting video for you guys today because we were playing Daytona 2001 on quote-unquote the Sega Dreamcast. But we're actually using Flycast to play a new updated texture pack that basically takes Daytona USA 2001 and makes it look like Daytona USA on the Sega Model 2. And this is stuff I absolutely love, taking a franchise in a game that I can't get enough and giving it an entire fresh coat of paint that basically makes it look both modern as well as retro compared to 2001. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And Daytona 2001 is one of those releases, the more I play it over the intervening years, the more I enjoy it. I will definitely say you want to bring a wheel along for the party because it just controls better than trying to use an analog stick either on Dreamcast or on something like Flycast with like an Xbox Series X controller. And even though I looked away to see a text on my phone and absolutely just ran into that version button, this game absolutely is one that does grow on me. And just so you know, this texture pack was recently updated, and as far as who made this, I'm not going to say it on the channel, just because they have a username that's absolutely going to flag this video as being about something that it is not. So I will just leave a link in the description below to a video that has the link to grab this. That way I don't have to say the magic words that it's this thing 18 over age gated. But other than that, honestly, making something like Daytona 2001 look like Daytona USA on Model 2, as well as an HD remaster of it, is the type of stuff as a Sega arcade racing fan I absolutely love. Because that really is the fun thing about this texture pack. In Flycast, you can go to 1080p or higher resolutions, you can go to widescreen, so it basically looks like a Dreamcast Pro or even a Dreamcast 2, and I would say it has a lot of the Daytona USA 3 vibes going on, but except it is a better game than that one. And I will say that I never really loved the look of Daytona 2001. It felt like something Sega made, but it kind of lacked those bright blue skies and the overall arcade graphical aesthetic that absolutely sold me on Daytona USA and Daytona 2 on the Sega Model 3. In some ways, this kind of does feel like you're playing a Sega Model 3 game on the Super Model and not Daytona 2001 on Dreamcast, and that definitely is an improvement in my eyes. But be aware, this is just a texture pack, it is a graphical enhancement, it is going to be the exact same Daytona 2001 that you played before. So if you love that game and you want to make it look more like Model 2 or Model 3, you're absolutely going to love this. If you weren't a huge fan of Daytona 2001, there's not going to be anything here to convince you that you want to play the game again, because it's one of those things. The best graphics in the world do not make a game fun if you don't already enjoy it, and if a game is fun, even if the graphics aren't great, it's still going to be fun for all of us. But the best part about this is, even though it's intended to be an HD texture pack, I kind of like playing around with the look in the standard internal running resolution of Dreamcast in 4:3. It basically gives it a very similar aesthetic to the Sega Model 2 and Model 3 versions of Daytona, and that really is the fun thing about Flycast and being able to kind of articulate whatever image you want. You want to go retro, you can do that. You want to go modern, that is an option as well. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me high definition in widescreen or standard definition in 4:3. And the fun part is you can definitely get this into a CRT television or a VGA monitor, even on a modern system with the right parts. So going over, and I have played around with this in the background, putting this on a VGA monitor and getting it in 4:3, being able to play on Flycast on my PC, is just straight up a vibe that you cannot achieve any other way. And it really goes to show that fans and developers out there love these franchises of games as much as I do, and just kind of want to play around to make them every bit as good, unique, and different as possible. And the nice thing is, with all the HUD here, everything else, it is all in high definition, so it looks absolutely incredible. And the nice thing is, it's still the exact same courses, no turns have changed, no gameplay has changed, it just absolutely looks like a lost arcade game that never actually came to arcades. And that is something you don't get to say about many texture packs or ROM hacks. And the best part is, it is still Daytona 2001, so you know it has one of the best soundtracks ever put to any game ever made. Not just a racing game, but I insist, any game in the history of gaming. So go ahead and listen, and I'll be right back with more. I mean, every single time I talk about Daytona USA, the soundtrack gets stuck in my head. Now it's going to be stuck in your head as well. But it's one of those things from memory. I can hum basically every single track from the original Daytona. Now moving over to the exact same track again, but going back to standard def in 4.3. I absolutely love both the looks here. They kind of are interchangeably fun. And there is something about the simplified textures being more colorful and more poppy that really give this game a lot more life. The same way kind of on Sega Rally 2, the Super Model version or the Model 3 version absolutely just has better color and better overall looking textures than the Dreamcast port of that game did as well. There's just something about the arcade games that did go from either Model 2, Model 3, or Naomi to Dreamcast, where I feel like some of them lost a little bit of color along the way. And because Sega is so well known for their colors in their arcade games and in their racing games, I would say Daytona 2001, where the textures just kind of looked a little bit more realistic. Now that's not to say that the game looked quote-unquote realistic, it's just one of those things. I always preferred the arcade versions as far as how they had the vibe set, and this is basically exactly what's going on here. It's changing the entire vibe of the game while also keeping the gameplay fully intact. And as we go over to Pixie Park here again, just absolutely love these skies, the purples, the oranges, that kind of golden hour yipe stripes looking sunset, along with all of the new textures. But I totally get this is going to be one of those things. It's either going to be a love it or hate it situation, but anytime I can talk about Daytona on the channel again in a fresh new perspective, it is always an opportunity I'm going to take. Because since I played the original Daytona USA in arcades in Vermont where I grew up, the arcade was called the Dream Machine, I have fallen in love with this franchise, and I have Daytona as well as Daytona 2 as original arcade boards in my collection, even though at this point in time I will use MAME and Super Model Emulator if I actually want to sit down and play them, because wiring up control and pedal set just absolutely takes more time than actually sitting down and enjoying the game. But something like this texture pack makes me want to jump back into 2001 and just play it for hours and hours on end one more time. And that is a good testament to just how impressive this thing is, because there's only so many tracks, there's nothing new here content-wise, so the fact that I actually wanted to sit down and play Daytona USA for the rest of the afternoon again means that I am enthralled with it all over in the first place. And that really shows just how impressive things like this are. And from the notes and the overall patches here, these are all hand-done textures. It is done basically by someone who might not call themselves an artist, but absolutely is one. I know that's a question I always get on these texture pack videos. This is done by hand. There is no AI involved in it, at least according to the developers and everyone else who I've talked to. Now moving into the oval here, this is one absolutely just prefer the 4x3 aesthetic because it really does look like a Dreamcast. I would say maybe the gamma on the road texture here could be dropped down a tiny bit because there is detail in it, but it can get slightly lost, but honestly feels very similar to Sega Model 2, and that is one of my favorite graphical aesthetics of all time, because there was just something about Sega in that generation. They had better looking games and better arcade hardware than any other developer out there, and to me it really is just the golden era of the 3D arcade racing game, the mid-90s to like the mid-2000s. One more soundtrack sample just so you can get some more Daytona stuck in your head as well, and I'll be right back to show you one more course and talk about the texture pack just a little bit more.
Checkpoint. Your time's extended. 2 laps to go. Stay low in the turn. Checkpoint. Your time's extended. This is the final lap. Stay low in the turn. Check your position.
I mean, how one day I am going to end up in a casket dead like everybody else, and I think maybe I will put a request in my will that my wife just play the Daytona USA soundtrack as background music. And if you're asking why I think I'm going to go first, it's basically just a guarantee. I am clumsy, it can happen any day. But honestly, all jokes aside, I just love stuff like this. I have always been a huge fan of Daytona USA. Even the third entry, which is a little bit weird, it still makes me happy to play it. I have so many fond memories of playing these things in arcades, getting home ports of them on the Saturn, Dreamcast, and even PC, and every single time I play Daytona USA, I am in a better mood for the rest of the day for having done so. And now with this new updated texture pack that basically makes it look like Model 3.5 in some ways, it just makes me want to jump into Daytona 2001 all over again, and that is incredible. Now, if you want to check this one out, follow the link in the description below. If you need a Flycast guide or tutorial, I've got them on the channel, but definitely play this one. Bye-bye.